2 weeks ago, I was in Rome on pilgrimage, and everywhere I looked was beautiful. The churches themselves were magnificent. The statues of saints, and more importantly, the places where they lied, the places of their martyrdom, were personally very inspiring. The artwork and the frescoes naturally brought me to quick reflection. And the music, very similar to our own, has a natural way of drawing your soul up to God. Needless to say, it was very easy to notice beauty everywhere. But things were a little different when I came back to Colombia. Colombia is no Rome. Over this past week, I have been shocked by how much garbage our American society tries to throw down our throats. I was shocked by how many profane images I saw and words that I heard. For example, as I was leaving Rome, flying back to Charlotte, it was 11 hours. What do you do on a flight when you can't sleep? You watch movies. So what seemed and appeared to me to be very wholesome movies that were drama or action flicks, of course, all had to have sex scenes or very violent scenes in them, even the ones that appeared to be very wholesome from the beginning. In the car, as I was driving in Colombia this week, you tune into the radio, and usually I don't really pay attention to the words, but for some reason I did, more so this time. And I noticed how sexually charged so many of the lyrics were. I noticed how so many of the lyrics were promoting very selfish and materialistic agendas. As I turned the TV on, I noticed even too how many cuss words are making it into normal everyday television shows, and how the Lord's name is said in vain way more often than I noticed before. Even some of the billboards around Colombia, the ads on Facebook, on some of our own apps and the internet, everywhere I looked, I felt like I was being force-fed. I was bombarded by all of these images, and to be honest, I felt very perturbed and even dirty from seeing and hearing some of these things. Now, did life dramatically change the 2 weeks that I was gone? The answer is no. Not much has changed in 2 weeks. But something changed in me. Why was I noticing these things? Why was I being affected now while 2 weeks ago, not so much? What I learned, at least for myself, is that I became desensitized to our culture and the images and the sounds that, again, it tries to throw down our souls. It has an agenda that is very much life-sucking and not life-giving. And I didn't notice how much I was being affected by modern media, by our culture, and even by our commercials. And I assume most of us also do not notice. Most of us have become desensitized to what is bad in our culture. We are just so used to it, it has become a norm. And it does in fact affect us. So much of us consume literal garbage for our souls. Not everything is garbage out there, we know that, but much of it is. It was because of 2 weeks away from our agenda-laden culture and being present in the beauty of the holy city of Rome and the place where our first martyrs lie that it drew me out of the rubbish of our society, of our culture, and that we unintentionally draw into so much into our hearts and into our souls. I share this with you to warn you, because I was drawn into it just as much as every one of us today. We all need to evaluate what we are consuming, what we are allowing into our minds and into our hearts and into our souls. Because what we allow in our mind first, through our eyes and through our ears, affects our ability to see God clearly. It affects our ability to love God, to connect to Him, to have a relationship with Him. It affects how we see and act towards our brothers and our sisters. We may not notice it because we're used to it until we're away from it for a little while and it shocks us how much it affects us. When we take a while to evaluate what we are allowing into our minds and hearts, we have to make some decisions. And decision would be, do we have the courage to stop watching, or listening, or being exposed to material that is unholy or profane? Say a lot of television shows you watch have some good humor, but if you take time to analyze it from a Christian point of view, should we be watching it? I know as a child, sometimes people would say to me, probably teachers, maybe my parents, who knows, if you are watching this and Jesus was sitting next to you, do you feel uncomfortable? Well, if Jesus is sitting next to you while you're watching, consuming, listening, and you would feel uncomfortable that our Lord was next to you, maybe that is a sign that you shouldn't be consuming it. Indeed, we do need to take a step back and begin to purify our minds, taking out the old, putting in the new. Our readings help us so much today because they speak about cleansing, they speak about purifying. Both Naaman and the 10 people in the gospel were healed of leprosy. And we can make the analogy in our own minds that much of the rubbish of what we watch and what we listen to can give us spiritual and emotional leprosy. Leprosy did two things in the time of when these scriptures were written. For the Jews, it was very harsh. Leprosy physically alienated you from your community. You could not worship, you could not be around your community, you had to live outside. Because leprosy was a sign of your impending death. In the case of Naaman, he wasn't Jewish, he was Syrian. So he still was able to work. He was a military commander. He was still able to do his job in a community. But I bet you it probably limited him from marriage, from relationships. It affected his life greatly. I think most of us are probably in the same boat as Naaman. We're living our life, we're doing our work, we're trying to keep peace in our relationships, but sin ultimately always has effect on our lives. Our culture has an effect on our lives when it's constantly bombarding us to believe in the lies of our culture. What we watch and what we listen to can slowly change the way we look at each other and look at God. And oftentimes not just slowly, but very quickly, especially when those materials are very violent or lustful in nature. It affects how we love. Affects how we love our spouses and our children. When I entered college, they made us take this drunk driving class where it says if you drink and you drive, this is how you experience it. So they made us put drunk goggles on and said this is how you are at 2 beers. This is how you are at 4 beers. This is how you are at 8 beers. And as it goes on, you have less sight, less mobility, you're seeing everything wobbly, and of course you can't drive. But over the time of more and more beers, the sight becomes less and less clear. And you become even wobbly standing there. When we consume more and more of what our culture force feeds us, we have these goggles where we cannot see clearly, we cannot see God, and we cannot see each other as brothers and sisters. So we have to get these goggles of culture off in order for us to see and to love better. And in order to do so, I do think we need real healing, just as those men and women needed healing from their leprosy. What the Lord did to them through the prophet Elisha and through Jesus Christ himself was heal them of their infirmities. They called out to the Lord and said, have pity on me, heal me. It started with them asking to be healed. Jesus didn't just show up and say, be healed. They asked first. We too can be healed of the things that we need to be healed of. But we have to recognize what it is first. And then we have to ask the Lord to begin the healing process from us. And one of the things that we need to be healed from is oftentimes our memories. We can hold on to memories for decades. They can haunt us, they can oppress us, and they can control us. They can be memories of impure fantasies of other relationships or pornography. They can be memories of anger, memories of all kinds of trauma, especially when we were younger. They can be memories of lies that we were told by our parents, told by our coaches, preachers or our teachers that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough. These are memories that so often can oppress us. And usually we just put them under the rug. We don't worry about them. But at times throughout their lives, they do affect us greatly. They can oppress us without us knowing. And we indeed have to ask God to heal us. But we have to want it. We have to ask God for healing in our lives, no matter what it is. One of the best places to grant this healing is through the sacrament of confession. Through our own sins and through the effects of sins in our lives, we do, in fact, need healing. So in conclusion, I want you to honestly evaluate this week what you put in your mind, what you put in your heart, what you put in your souls. What do you watch? What do you listen to? What do you consume? What lies have you allowed yourself to believe? And ask yourself, do I really need this in my life? Do I have the courage to uproot it and to put in place more wholesome and holy things? You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to listen to contemplative music 10 hours a day. But can you read scripture more? And the answer is yes. Can you maybe listen to some scripture, to some Christian music? The answer is yes. Can you take a walk in nature and allow God's beauty of His creation to fill you? There are so many ways that we could fill up ourselves with beauty. And it's in a beauty that we can be healed of so many things that we have taken into ourselves. I really encourage each one of us to turn to God today and this week and to allow God to heal you. Whatever you need to be healed from. And when it comes to our culture and whatever rubbish you have allowed into your heart and soul, give it to the Lord. And when I elevate the chalice during the consecration today, I want you to put your bad and traumatic and impure memories into the chalice. And allow the blood of Christ to wash over each one of us to purify us. It starts with wanting the Lord to forgive us. May we be like Naaman and like the 10 who came with an honest heart, asking the Lord to begin the healing process. May we recognize what we need healing from, and may we indeed ask the Lord